What's up, guys? Welcome to another video, and thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, I don't really know what to say, honestly. I am so thankful. There have been so many people subscribing lately, as of lately, especially after my health update video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I'm honestly kind of amazed. And my main purpose here is to just entertain people with my channel, with whatever I want to show. So I'm really happy about that. Um, so yeah, thank you to everyone who watched my videos. Even if you're not subscribed and you're new here, I really appreciate you for just listening to me ramble about all sorts of tech things, and even my shitty health update video that I did a while ago. Thank you so much for every video that you've watched that is from my channel, even if you didn't subscribe or like. Um, what I really want is to entertain the viewer. And, I'm not really going to beg for subs or likes because, I want to entertain people. And the same goes for sponsorships and shit like that. I mean, my channel is quite small, so probably not going to get sponsorships. But, I probably wouldn't do sponsorships because, I find them really annoying myself too. But, that's my sole purpose here on YouTube with my videos. I want to entertain y'all. So I'm really thankful that I've been able to do that. Now, what I'm going to do in this video, this is basically, my 1,000 subscriber special. I'm going to show you some phones that I got recently, what's been going on, and the future of my channel. Because, it's been a while since I've made a phone video, so yeah. Now, I am currently recording on my OnePlus Nord 4, and for people that have watched me before, you're probably thinking, isn't that your main phone? Not anymore. The Nord 4 is not my main anymore. I switched again. And you know what? That's going to be the first thing we're going to show. I was going to do a video about this, much earlier, like a month ago or so. But, then the things happened that happened in my, that I told you about in my health update video. If you didn't see that, I'll link it down below so you can watch it. Because I recommend you to watch that before you watch this for more context. But I decided to do what basically all of my friends were doing with their main phone. Buying a second-hand older flagship. For example, here's my S20. My S20 5G. It is absolute fucked. And by the way, sorry for the background noise. The neighbor's kids are screaming and I have my fan on as it's 32 degrees outside. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, besides that, I had a S20 5G. I say had because this thing is just effed. It's also dead, I think. Yeah, it's dead. I showed this in the previous video about my health update, what happened to this. This was basically my video camera, to put it simply. This was my secondary. I used this for everything. Absolutely everything until I cooked the screen on it. Now it's had a screen swap and the replacement screen is awful. It has lines going through. It doesn't have lines going through it, but like distortion and like it's like CRT lines. I don't really know how to describe it, but you probably get what I mean. The electronics that control the display are kind of effed. The battery is way worse. This battery is way worse. So yeah, this thing is basically effed. And like I said in the previous video, I cooked the cameras while trying to fix the cable. But yeah, I had this, and this phone made me realize how fucking awesome second-hand older flagship phones are. This phone was so good. This is the Exynos model with 12 gigs of RAM, but this is so good. This thing was so good. This is literally my second favorite phone that was ever given to me by my friend who also collects phones, with the favorite being an S8 in parts, but I don't think I ever showed that on this channel. But yeah, using this phone for 7 months, which, I got 7 months out of this, pretty good considering how bad the bad condition the previous display was and how destroyed the back was. I was amazed with how usable this thing was, and this can still be used for years to come. It's just that software support ended. But yeah, it made me, rethink my decision of buying a new phone. I was like, you know what? I want a phone that, I don't worry so much about, because of it being brand new, with next to no battery cycles and stuff like that. Um, so I bought pretty much the best value phone that I could get, secondhand, which is a flagship. That being the Samsung Galaxy S23 series. So I bought a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. This is my main. Yes, it has a crack. We'll talk about that in a bit. But this is my new main phone. I switched once again. So I switched many times with main phones, which I don't like. I tend to, use my main phone for a long time. At least that's what I want to do. But I switched from a Motorola One Macro to, just for context for people who never watched my switching videos where I switched from main phones. I switched from a Motorola One Macro to a Galaxy M53 back at the end of 2022 because my Motorola didn't get security updates for a year, and that felt pretty bad. And I wanted to try something that was, better. So I bought the M53, which I have laying somewhere here. This was my main. This absolute piece of fucking junk. I hated this phone. Then I switched to the Nothing Phone 2A, which I did a video on and a sequel to because it lasted me 6 days before the AMOLED started having a yellowish tint at the corner of the screen here. So I returned it and got all my money back, which is when I bought the OnePlus Nord 4, which I'm currently recording on. The Mercurial Silver model with 16 gigs of RAM, the absolute top-of-the-line beast. I bought this in what was it? August? Yeah, in August I got this phone. And, I was wanting to use this thing for a long time because this phone is really built to last. The only thing that isn't is, it's a hell to take apart if you ever want to replace the battery on it. But it has long software support, good Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3, really good specs, honestly. It's just that the camera was quite mid. And I wanted more value for money, even more, even though the Nord 4 is really good value for money, especially nowadays where you can snag it for under 400 quid for the 12 gig RAM model, which I recommend you to do. It's a really, really good phone. But the cameras were a mixed bag on this, and I wanted even better value. I was like, it must be possible to get even better value, right? So I went on my local marketplace website and looked for S23 Ultras because I watched a YouTube video 6 months ago, back in 2024, that the S23 series is just absolute crazy value. And I found an S23 Ultra, this one, in used condition, 256 gig, 8 gig RAM model, so the base model, in black. I thought this was green initially. I really wanted the green, but it was black, sadly, but oh well, can't always have good luck. And the pictures were a little bit weird for this, so I said to the seller, if this doesn't have burn-in, I'll take it away from you for 300 quid. 300. He accepted it. So I got a S23 Ultra for 300 quid. Now this did take a while. I did ask for pictures with the screen on because I really wanted that mint condition screen. Mint condition, just no burn-in or, irreparable OLED wear. That's what I really, really hate. Scratches and stuff like that, that's fine, as long as it's not cracked in terms of the glass. But AMOLED damage, like really bad purple tint or burn-in, I hate that stuff. That is super annoying, and I just can't live with that on a main phone. On a secondary I can, but on a main I can't. And he showed me 2 pictures of this, and the screen looked absolutely mint. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the gamble. I'm gonna give him that 300 quid. And yeah, a couple of days later, it arrived. And this is how it is. I did add some scratches myself because I've been using this phone really heavily. The crack, that's my fault. That is not how this came to be. Okay, so ignore that for now. This is in pretty used condition, as you can see. There is some. This is not my fault. The charging port wear is also not my fault. Please focus. See, this is why I switched. But yeah, S Pen is here. S Pen is in perfect condition. I don't think I'll have to buy a new tip anytime soon. It all works. This side is in pretty good shape, but there are some dings here and there, some scratches, some light nicks. The camera rings also have some light nicks on them, but he sold this as used, and for a phone that was sold in used condition, The screen was absolutely mint. Now, here it is. Okay, I'll show it to you. I'll put it in light mode for you, so you can actually see things. There you go. There it is. There's my S23 Ultra. I love this thing, honestly. This was one of the best decisions I could have ever made, and I should have made way, way earlier in my life. And that's what I really noticed when I got this phone. The cameras on it are absolutely amazing. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 kicks ass. It still does. This thing scored higher in Geekbench than my Nord 4. Guess how much more the Nord 4 costed me? 184 euros it costed me extra. And that was because I kind of bought this phone at launch, the Nord 4. Not at launch, but like a couple months after it released, because I really, really wanted it. Yet I still switched. The Nord 4 is going to go to my mom, in case anybody's wondering. But yeah, this is one of the best decisions I ever made. This really made me realize, wow, I should have always gone this route. It's just older flagship. And I made many. This one really made me realize how many mistakes I made by buying new phones and new budget phones. Now the Nord 4 is not that bad. You know, it is very close to, secondhand older flagship phone territory value. But these are making more and more sense to buy every year due to software support, I feel like. But yeah, my friend basically switched me over because he gave me the S20 for free, and I enjoyed this phone so much. I was like, you know what? I use this more than my main. I want to experience it for cheap as a main phone too. Now, this does have some flaws. This was not a perfect phone. I do want to get into that first. The back is coming off. So the adhesive on this is really weak. I don't think I'll be able to catch that, but man, this phone sucks for video recording. Yeah, the back's coming off. And I did a battery replacement on this. I'll show you. Here's the original battery. I replaced it because I don't know what the previous owner did, but the previous owner was kind of a dickhead, I think, because this had 77% battery health on a 2-year-old phone. To put in context how crazy that is, I have a S7, right? I'll show you it. I have a white S7. This thing has over 1,000 cycles and 77% battery health. This has like 1,100 cycles, so that's not bad. But this thing, there's no fucking way that this was charged 1,100 times in 2 years. That is not possible. Like, I don't think that is humanly possible. You'd have to grind it so hard every single day with free demark and everything every single day. I can't believe that that is possible. Now, I did use it like this for quite a while because this Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is so efficient still. It could still last me through the day, even with the F battery. But yeah, eventually I did replace it with a 23 euro replacement battery. So that is not bad at all considering, you know, the costs. And it is way, way better now. With a full charge, I could definitely get 2 days out of this. Especially if I turn on light performance mode, which I have on most of the time. And we now have 89% battery health. So that's not perfect. But considering the 23 euros I paid and considering how expensive some other shops were, which were up to like 40, 50 quid, which is what I was expecting, this is not bad at all. This is almost as good as original 4300 milliamp hours. I'm going to cycle it a few times still, of course. But this is either a reused cell or it's truly new and just not perfect. I don't know. I don't care. This thing lasts me long enough now. So yeah. It did come with its shortcomings, but this was absolutely worth the 300 quid. I recommend this to anybody because this thing still gets 2 OS updates and should get like 3 years of security. I think, yeah, 3 years. I also got a case for it. Don't worry. I got a crappy AliExpress case. And I also already have a scratch in the edge in case you were wondering. But yeah, this does have a few nicks on the display, but no annoying deep scratches. There's nothing annoying while using the phone. Like if I have the screen on like this and I look at it, this looks like mint. This looks like very lightly used for like 1 year. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna hold on to this for at least 3 years. And I say that, and you know, I switch all the fucking time, so no one's going to believe that in the comments, which is funny. But I am definitely gonna try because this there's no better deal out there than this. 300 quid for an S23 Ultra with no real defects other than the ones that I caused with taking the back off for the battery replacement and cracking it in the process, which is entirely my fault. Um, Other than that, this was ridiculous deal. I couldn't resist. I had to do this. All my data has been set over. I've been using it for a couple months, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to do this from now on with pretty much everything when it comes to my main phone. I'm just going to be buying older flagship phones secondhand as a main phone now, because this was just amazing. I'm so much happier with this than the Nord 4. It was a really good decision. So with that out of the way, I did get quite a lot of stuff in the time that I didn't make videos. So let's take a look at that. I got quite a few phones to show you. I'll show you the small phone lot first that I had. And I'm thankfully not recording on my S23 Ultra like I was last time, so I can actually show you it. This was the first phone lot I got at my my internship where I work, which is not really my internship anymore, by the way. For those who are wondering, that has ended. My internship for school has ended. I literally still go to my oh, oops, man, this phone sucks. Can you see why I switched? I'm still working there just because I want to. I love working at my, if you don't know, I work at a thrift shop for funsies on a Thursday and sometimes Friday, because there's an absolute shit ton of stuff these days, especially in the summer period. Like right now, there are people, countless people, you know, throwing away phones, tablets, computers there. And that I get to sort out because I work at the electronic section, so I basically get to do what I love, which is messing with computers, phones, and all that. And I had that as an internship for school, but now it has ended. But I'm still going there as long as I can, which will be up until at least, I think, August, which after that point things are going to change. But yeah, anyways, this is the phone lot I had. Now these consist of a Huawei P40 Lite, completely cracked to bits, but working. I'll zoom in for you. That right there, it came with a case. A Xiaomi Mi 5 in gold with a cracked screen protector but absolute mint condition. A dead Huawei P8 Lite with eMMC issues. A dead Samsung Galaxy A5 2017 with a smashed display but a good AMOLED from the looks of things, but the motherboard was dead, or the battery, one of the two. Another Huawei P30 Lite, which was in mint condition, except at the time that I took this photo, it had horrendous screen protector over it. It was a really, really horrendous looking matte screen protector, and I instantly took that off. It looked horrendous. And there in the corner, a iPod Touch. I don't know what gen, but definitely one of the final ones. I think it's the one that they released before the 2019 model, after they stopped doing that. Now, this iPod, I do want to mention, is still locked. It's at one of my friend's house. He couldn't unlock it, so I'm letting him keep it. These are the backs of all the phones. Now, I only have a couple phones. I only have 3 phones left from this. The A5 I tried fixing, but I completely destroyed the motherboard in the process, and I just gave it away to my friend. iPod has been given away to my friend. The cracked P30 Lite has been given away to my friend too. The Mi 5 I have, I'll show you that in a bit, and the P8 Lite's also gone. Now, a couple notes on these two P30 Lites. These were FRP locked. These were horrendously FRP locked on EMUI 12. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of FRP unlocking stuff in the background that I was in the time that I was gone. I did a lot of FRP unlocking crap. I spent hours doing that. But eventually I did get both unlocked, which was amazing. Such an amazing, rewarding feeling. I love it. So I'll show you the phones. So here's the Xiaomi Mi 5. This one has quite an interesting story to it. This was owned by people that came from a different country and moved in here, I think. And they took this phone with him. This was owned by a guy who loved smoking and had a daughter and a little baby daughter. Yeah, this thing was full of information. Now, this phone was really, really interesting because it was actually running a custom ROM on Android 6, which is what this phone came with. It's running a custom ROM now, but I've thrown that on here myself. This was running Moki OS Android Marshmallow custom ROM, which I do know that exists. I've used it myself, but not the Marshmallow. It was really interesting to me because there was still a MIUI folder. So this was basically, they bought this And they just said, no, I don't like MIUI. And they just instantly unlocked this thing and threw a custom ROM on there, which I find really, really interesting. That never happens with Xiaomi's. I don't even get Xiaomi's that often. This is currently running AOSP, Android 10 or 11, one of the two. I haven't really touched this phone much since I got it. But yeah, this thing is in absolute mint condition. But I find it really interesting, the story that was behind this phone. I did take all of the photos and pictures off of it and threw it on my computer because I just found it interesting. Apparently, the person who owned this bought a S7, and I was going to say S7 Edge, but no, it was a normal S7, 32 gigs in gold. How do I know that? Well, there were unboxing pictures of it back in 2016. Those are 2016 pictures when the S7 was brand new, and he basically switched to that and owned this for like half a year, something like that. The battery in this is like brand new. It's 92% health, even better than my fucking S23 Ultra. So this thing, yeah, it is in mint condition, which is really nice because I have there's not even like port wear on this at all. I've never owned a flagship Xiaomi. This isn't the best model. There's a Prime and a Pro model. This is the standard model, but that is because the standard model was the only model that was sold in, at least in my country here. The Pro and the Prime are China exclusive. But yeah, this phone looks absolutely amazing. I love how they're going for that super thin bezel approach with like buttons here. This feels like a Samsung home button. It does have a cracked screen protector, but I'm going to keep that on because this thing is like, there's not a single scratch on the back. This thing looks amazing. I'm really glad to have this in my collection. I think it looks really cool. The case looks kind of crap, but I don't care. It's a free phone. I got this for free. And yeah, it's also one of the first ones with USB-C. It has a Snapdragon 820 with 3 gigs of RAM, I think. Yeah, I got that right. 1080p screen, although it is sadly in IPS LCD, but it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look as good as Huawei LCDs, but it does look quite good. And it is running AOSP extended Android 11 as of currently. This is probably not the ROM that I'm going to keep on here. I'm probably going to do some more custom ROMing and experimenting on this phone, but this is definitely still usable. So yeah, with that, let's move on to the next one that I got in this lot. Now the next one is the P30 Lite. Now this is currently my first Thierry, so this is in use. It's currently doing a battery health test. I did a lot of things with the two P30 Lites. I switched the batteries on these two. This is my P20 Lite, which is absolutely dying. This thing has battery issues. It has like a battery syndrome. It was at 4.2 volt, 4.3 volts at 5% last time I charged it. So it has battery issues. But yeah, this thing is in mint condition. There are no scratches on the screen because it had a screen protector on it. The back looks pretty good. I kept the case because of course I did. I'm currently doing a battery health test. So yeah, this is currently doing stuff. I also got this, which I guess I'll show in a little bit. This I picked up a couple of days ago. But yeah, this is currently my first Thierry, my first device that I use for freaking around because my S20 is dead. Well, my S20 isn't dead, but my S20 is dying. My P20 Pro is dying, and I just need something, man. It's super annoying. I'm still waiting for my package to arrive with my mystery new secondary phone that I'm not going to mention yet which one it is. But yeah, this thing is in mint condition. I FRP unlocked it. It was running the exact same software as the other one. I opened this up. I did a battery swap between the two because the cracked one had 2% higher battery health. So, you know, I got to get those extra 200 milliamp hours in the one that I'm actually going to use. I work like that. So this has been opened up. I tried FRP unlocking with test point. Even that didn't work. What ultimately worked for FRP bypassing was the downgrade method by downgrading to EMUI 10. So this is running EMUI 10. I sadly can't get EMUI 12 on here. I just can't find a good firmware. I can't find firmware for this device that is EMUI 12. It can run it. It definitely can because this is very similar to my P20, my P Smart 2019, which has same chip, actually a gig of RAM less, and it does run EMUI 12. And let me tell you, EMUI 12 is so much better than EMUI 10. Like, just look at the difference with my P20 Pro. Like, this is so much better. This is so much smoother. The animations are so much better, especially with gestures, which is the only real reason why I still use the P20 Pro over the software. So that really does suck. but this does have a decent camera. I really did restore this thing as well as I could with the best parts, and this thing will probably be kept. And this is also my second best Huawei device now, unlike the P20 Lite that I got a few months ago back in February. So yeah, that's the Huawei P30 Lite. This is the 4 gig RAM, 128 gigabyte storage version, in case you're curious, in the peacock blue, if that wasn't obvious. So those were the only phones that I kept from that lot that I just showed you. So let's move on to everything else in random order that I got as of recently. So we're actually moving on to a dumb phone. This is a Motorola Razr, and I've been wanting these as a kid for ages. And I'd say like from 2017 until now, I really wanted a Razr. And I did have a Razr. This pink thing. This is a classic Razr V3. So this is an OG Razr in really good condition. Hinge is perfect. Only has a few minor scuffs. But the display cable in this is dead. It only shows white. And this display does work, the outer display. Now this is a V3i in silver, as you can see. And this works absolutely flawlessly. If it wants to power on. There you go. Wow, my OnePlus absolutely sucks, doesn't it? Yep, this doesn't even have a SIM lock, unlike my V360 that I broke years ago. I bricked a Motorola V360 trying to unlock it from stupid Orange network, and then I got an orange SIM card a couple years later, and I absolutely hated myself after that. So, yeah. Well, my phone is at 39 degrees Celsius. It's absolutely dying. It's so fucking hot in here, dude. But yeah. Motorola V3i works absolutely totally fine. What the fuck happened to the lighting in here? Stupid fucking phone. Motorola V3i works absolutely totally fine. Nothing wrong with this. And I absolutely love to have this in the collection. This is one of the few phones that isn't a smartphone that I still really want. Really want it. And if I ever find another one of these, I'm absolutely taking it too, because I still want an original V3. I mean, look at this amazing design. It does look slightly better in my opinion because of the silver rails. But yeah, I'm not going to repair this one. I'm just going to wait until I find another one. But yeah, in the meantime, very happy with this thing. It does have hinge issues. It does sound a little crap. But, oh well, hey, I found this in the bin that said broken phones on it at my internship. So what can you expect? The fact that this works perfectly is ridiculous. And I absolutely adore this thing. Now I just need to get a Nokia 3220 and a Sony Ericsson P800, which are also dumb phones that I still want. So moving on to another phone that I got in random order. This. And you're not going to recognize this at all. This is a Wolfgang. Another Wolfgang phone. I now own 3 of these, I think. 4, something like that. This one works completely fine. I think it's an AS43D1, something like that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this thing other than the battery's dead. But yeah, I own a few Wolfgang phones. Come on. Jesus, I hate this phone. I own a few Wolfgang phones. I have a AS45D1, I think. I have an AS45 something IPS with an IPS screen that I had for years. And I have a newer one that I don't know the model name of anymore, but it's completely shot. It doesn't want to boot. It boot loops and the display, the touchscreen is broken. But yeah, this does work, I promise. It's dead. The battery on this is really bad, I think. But this is an ATAS43D1. I do know that. This was given to me by a friend. That's cool. Ooh, there you go. It shows live. It's just dead. I'm going to keep this on the charger. But yeah, this runs Android 4.1. I don't know what CPU this has because I wasn't able to install device info hardware on this yet. But it's a really old Wolfgang. It's probably the oldest. It's definitely the oldest one I own now. But it's fun to have because everybody throws these away, and one day these are going to be Dutch collectibles. That is for sure, because these were never sold anywhere apart from here. So yeah, I'll show you that in a bit once it has charged. Next up, not a very special phone, but definitely one that is nostalgic for me specifically. a Galaxy S5, a regular one, not a stupid plus one, in white. I found this in a box at my internship at the entrance, which is where I sometimes grab and save phones out of, which I'm not, I'm not totally allowed to do, but people do like it when I do that because they know that I save things. It came in this absolutely horrendous case. I'll put it on for you. Look at that. This is how I found this phone, except this wasn't cracked in the middle. That is my fault. I'm gonna turn it on. It should have at least a little bit of charge. Yep, works completely fine. I'll get into how many how many S5s I've had already in a bit. But yeah, this works completely fine. This case is absolutely horrendous. I do use this case when I travel with this phone because it's actually in really good condition. This is the best condition S5 that I've had so far. Well, not the best condition. I did have a mint condition black one, but that one had a bulging battery that was bulging so bad that it basically broke the power button somewhat. It did still turn on. Oh, I just died. Come on, man. Why is every phone dead? I can't really charge many things currently because my fast chargers are in use by the P20 Pro and the P30 Lite because the P20 Pro is such a piece of crap that cannot hold a charge. But yeah, the battery in this is really bad. The battery that was in here was really, really bad already. It was from like March 2015 or something. So that is when this phone was made. But yeah, as you can see, it is missing the flap. But it is in really, really good condition. Come on, buddy, turn on. It's running a custom ROM because of course I put that on here. But yeah, this thing was absolutely hilarious because there were pictures of like a grandma on here that were so funny that I decided to put some of them on my main phone. I'm not going to show you them for privacy reasons, of course, but it's absolutely hilarious. I'm going to turn them in like WhatsApp stickers because it's just the pictures that were on here. Look, there's a little bit of wear on the power button, but that's it. The pictures that were on here were absolutely hilarious. Like this phone was used by some older people, but definitely had a life before that by someone else. I'm really, really sure because, yeah, this thing also has a screen protector on it, pretty decent one. I've never come across an S5 with a screen protector, but it does have a little crack right there and a tiny little bubble there. But I'm gonna keep it on because it does work quite well. Wait for it. Now this device is still quite usable, I must say. Just like the Note 4 and the... oh, come on. Why can't I not just use my fucking fingerprint? There you go. Wow, it's 2%. It's completely fucking dead. This works completely fine and is really smooth on Android 10. I love using this thing on Android 10. And, this is where I realized my mistake. When I had my S5, right, back in 2020, which was my golden, my Band-Aid edition one, which I still have and still use to this day as a music phone, I should have used that thing as a main phone, but instead I switched to the stupid yellow Nokia banana phone, which if you want to see that, go to my channel and press on oldest videos, sort by oldest videos, you will find it. Those are absolutely awful videos. I owned that as a main phone, and then about a year later, I got the Motorola One Macro for 150 euros. But what I should have done is throw a custom ROM on here, never buy the banana phone, and just throw my SIM card in here and use this on Android 10. Because when I was buying a new phone, Android 10 and Android 9 were already available for this thing, and were pretty much the newest version of Android at the time. So if I actually used my fucking brain that I don't have, and got some knowledge with custom roaming, I could have easily had a really good experience and then maybe buy an S7 in a couple of years because I knew how great older flagships would be from the S5. So I would buy an S7 or maybe save up some money for an S8 later and, then go to an S20, stuff like that. I should have done my childhood like that, beginning with a good, old flagship phone and then, upgrading to newer ones as I go. But no, stubborn me didn't do that. I wanted new because I thought new was better because I was one of those consumers that was brainwashed like that, and now I am not anymore. But yeah, this is an S5. There were some hilarious pictures on here that I'm not going to show for privacy reasons. They were just pictures of a grandma that looked like she smokes 100 cigarettes in 2 days. So yeah, Galaxy S5, SMG 900F, just a classic European model where they sell millions of. I've never owned one of these in white. I did own a white S5 Plus, but the power button broke on that, and it was atrocious. And I gave it away to my friend, and it's probably completely gone now. I also owned I've owned many of these S5s. I also own a gold S5 Plus in mint condition. Also gave that away. My friend actually used that for quite a bit. He enjoyed it. And I also owned another white S5 Plus, I think, for a little bit from one of my other friends who I gave it back to. I have an S5 Mini in white, which just matches fairly well with, and I have my original Band-Aid edition gold S5 that's running stock firmware, that's being used as a music phone every Monday. And that's my original one that I got in 2020 from my teacher. That was my main until I actually got a SIM card and throw it in a stupid banana phone. So I've owned a lot of these S5s, but these still stay pretty fun. These were a huge leap over the S4. S4 is really atrocious here because it runs the Snapdragon 600. And they get hot. They drain so fast. You can get like 100 minutes out of 100% battery. They're absolutely horrendous to deal with. Because yeah, we in Europe didn't get the Exynos variant of the S4. We get the Snapdragon 600 version, which seems better on paper, but no, Exynos used to be better back in the day. Like same with the S8. The Snapdragon 835 S8 was way worse than the Exynos S8, except if you really want the gaming performance, it was better. But battery life was way worse. It got way hotter. It eaten more power. It slurped up more power. You know, that sort of thing. So yeah, but then again, we also have, in my country, you also have the Snapdragon version of the Note 3 and the Snapdragon version of the S5 here. They absolutely drain battery like fucking crazy. The only phone that I know from this era that doesn't have this heating and battery issue is the Note 4 with the 805, which is funny because the S5 Plus also has an 805 and it drains way quicker than even this thing. It's absolutely unusable. But no, my Note 4 lasts really long. I just wanted to point that out because I find that really weird and it's super frustrating. So yeah, that's one thing I want. I want to find a Exynos S5 or an Exynos S4. I really want an Exynos S4. It would be really cool. Because those apparently don't have such bad battery draining issues as the one we have here, which is a GTI 9505 instead of the 9500. But yeah, that's a regular S5. Nothing really special here. It runs pretty well. I'm going to keep it on this custom ROM. This Concealer is really not bad at all. I'm probably just going to keep it on Android 10, Lineage OS 10, 17.1. Sorry, that took like 3 tries. But yeah, S5 for free. Not bad at all. So the last one I'm going to show you is the one that I got most recently. And this one is really different from all of them. So this is kind of a reward for people who are, still watching. Now look at this, right? I got this yesterday. Would you be able to guess or tell what phone this is just by looking at it like this? Well, if you're going to look at it from this side, you may be able to if you're really that big of a nerd like me. I wouldn't. But this is a Lenovo. So yeah, welcome Lenovo to my collection, first of all, because I've never had a Lenovo device in my collection apart from their crappy tablets. This is a Lenovo P2. Yeah, I found this. Well, I didn't find this. This was reserved for me. Wow, you cannot see anything at all. It's not like my camera absolutely sucks no matter which one I choose. The only good camera phone that I actually... Come on, you piece of fucking garbage. The only good camera phone that I have is my S23 Ultra, I suppose. I'm still waiting for my new secondary to arrive, so I'm really sorry, guys. This is the Lenovo P2A42 with 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage, so it's not a base model. And yeah, I've never owned a Lenovo phone in my entire life. This is really interesting. This has a 5,000 mAh battery, 5.5-inch 1080p Super AMOLED display, which is really nice. It does have some really bad burn-in, which I'll show you. And it has the famous Snapdragon 625 that has absolutely unbeatable efficiency. Yeah, it has really bad burn-in. There's some really bad bottom bar burning, but I can't, and there's also top bar burning. You can't really see it on camera, but in person it's quite visible on like a gray surface. Especially those buttons are quite distracting. I blame it on Lenovo. Like, most of the time I blame it on a previous owner, but this is just Lenovo's fault, because there's absolutely no way to hide these. So yeah, cool boot animation as well. This is my first Lenovo phone in my collection. I've never owned one of these. I'm definitely going to custom ROM this, since it does have a very big battery that hasn't been lasting too long. I don't really know how good it's going to be. I haven't been able to do a health test because it doesn't measure, at least it doesn't, well, it probably does measure how much power it's drawing, but it doesn't show it to the system. So AccuBattery just doesn't know what to do. It does have a S2 home button, which I find funny. But yeah, I've never owned one of these. Really interesting phone. Really something different from all the Samsungs and stuff that I have. Definitely going to keep it. Probably going to take this horrendous screen protector off, which does have a crack right here and a crack like right here, as you can see. But other than that, this is just in used, lightly used condition. It did come with this case, which is really nice because I'm not going to get a case for this. And I'm probably going to custom ROM this and maybe use this on the go for games when I go on vacation in a few months, which, you know, I need a phone that, you know, can play a lot of offline games and last really long, which currently my Redmi 5 Plus does that, because it also has a 625 and absolutely crazy battery life, but that battery has been replaced. So yeah, but yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. It's been an absolute crazy journey. I absolutely love doing this, honestly. I really do, especially with the support lately. I really appreciate every single one of you. And I'm definitely going to continue doing this. So yeah, thank you all for making it till the end. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Most importantly, I really hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for supporting me, and see you all in the next video.